Downturns and small failures are inevitable. Ignore the potential for them and don't ever allow for true failure. Okay? So you're going to get in a situation where you have setbacks, where you have problems. And the best thing that you can do is just learn from them. But never ever allow for true failure, because true failure is going to be you quitting or you getting all the way off the path, and you never want that to happen. Next, realize that your life sucks compared to the life that you want to live. Okay, so you have desires, or you have a life that is, more tremendous that you want to go for. You're going to have to sacrifice certain things in your life now, some comfort in your life, some complacency in your life, in order to get to the life that you truly desire, that you truly want. Next, hatred is the activation energy you need to go from silent suffering in your life to motivated and driven action. Okay, so we never want to use hatred, and we never want to build off of hatred, okay, but we want to use hatred as a fuel source. If you think about the most motivated person you can imagine, they are going to have something that they love, and that thing was ripped away from them. And what that did is it built a fire in them. It built them a fire of hatred, and they used that as an energy source. Okay? Next, you have to be unbalanced to endure what's required in the suck. So sometimes you're going to have problems. Sometimes life is going to suck, and you're going to have to be unbalanced for a period in order to get through those problems, in order to persevere through that moment, through that experience of your life. And that might require obsession or an unbalanced life for a little period of time. Okay? Next, whatever your body has to suffer during that unbalanced phase that you go through will return back to normal within a week. Okay? So when you're dealing with all that unbalanced obsession and whatever, in order to solve that problem, ignore all of those emotions that come up and that bubble up, that make you feel like I can't do this, or this is, so bad for my life and whatever. Because when you come out of that unbalanced phase, you are going to be right back to normal. Okay? Next, anchor standards for yourself and hold yourself emotionally accountable for those things. Okay? Where you rip away something that you like, or some reward that you like, because you have to go do something that is so much more important. Okay, if you need to go to the gym and you eat ice cream every night, say that I will not eat ice cream tonight until I go to the gym, because that is the responsible thing to do, and I will always want you to be responsible. Okay? Next, make your standards for yourself hard every time. You always want to go out, you always want to do something hard. You want it to feel like you did something hard. Something that other people weren't capable of doing, or something that you didn't even think that you were capable of doing. And what that's going to do is it's going to fortify yourself. It's going to fortify your mind and your ability in yourself to go do hard things, okay? It should feel like you did something hard every time that you complete it, okay? You're going to build your self-confidence as well whenever you do that, okay? So go do something hard. Next, figure out what makes you happy to live life and find a way to experience that more in the long term, okay? I will always want you to be grateful. And so if you build a life that you're happy with, that you love, then you are going to be more grateful, and that's going to make your life so much better, okay? Find a way to recognize what makes me happy, and then you can start pursuing it. And if you can build that out on a long term, your life is just going to be amazing, okay? Next, you are your best asset. When you wake up in the morning, you are the most valuable thing in your house. No TV, no stove, or anything else. Refrigerator is more valuable than you, okay? You are worth more than all of those, and you are worth more than everything around you, okay? So treat yourself like that. Don't allow your best asset to be influenced by negative things, okay? Never allow something that costs $10 or $20 to influence your most important asset. Always protect your asset, your most important asset. Next, treat yourself like a human with superhuman powers, okay? So you're not a piece of glass. You can go out and you can go bend things, you can go break things. You are extremely, extremely capable. And if you treat yourself like a superhuman, you are going to recognize that you are extremely powerful. Okay? Next, go. Sometimes you just need to go. Sometimes you just have to take an action that allows you to go and that allows you to do something. Because what's going to arise is a problem's going to arise, a solution's going to arise, but what you're going to find is that you are one step closer to what you need to get to. Okay? Next, nobody cares about your opinion when they know you lie. So don't lie. If you get the vibe of a liar or someone says that someone else is a liar, you always know that I can't quite trust that person. And that person loses their influence. Okay? You never want to be the kind of person who is not trustworthy. Okay? So always tell the truth. Next, explore and find things that make you feel better than you expected. Find those experiences. Find those one-offs in your life that make you view life in a different way, that make you experience life in a completely different way, that change everything for you forever. Okay? Find those. Next, use your dopamine and lean towards drive and uncertainty. Those two are usually closely linked. Okay, so when you're about to pursue something or when you find something you want to pursue, you're going to see that there is going to be the fear of uncertainty, but there is also going to be the drive that you have inside of yourself. And you want that drive to overcome any sort of fear, any sort of doubt, okay? And you want to pursue it as a person who is strong enough to persevere through any of that uncertainty. Next, you don't know everything you need to know, and you never ever will. So you always have to keep learning. You always have to be the best student. You always have to be the kind of person who is the most quiet in the room, because the most quiet person is going to be observing the most. They're going to be picking up the most data points. They're going to be seeing reality better than everyone else is. Okay, so always be the best student, always be the smartest one in the room, and always be the most quiet. Okay, that's what's going to get you all the information that you need. Next, your life moves in phases where you concentrate your attention from one place in a long time and then you switch. Okay, so you might have that phase of your life where it's the gym phase, and then you have the max yourself out phase. You're going to have these phases in your life that you're going to have to switch between. Okay, and what's going to happen is that you're going to go through a phase and then your ROI or your return is going to go down. So what you want to do is you want to switch. Okay, and what's constantly going to happen is that you're going to have to find a new pursuit. You're going to have to find something that gives you that reward back. Okay? Next, doing hard things and controlling the negative emotion that comes from those is what makes you deserving of the more enjoyable experiences. So when you go through something hard, all those negative emotions and all that stuff that you have to feel to get through that hard thing is going to make all the positive stuff feel so much better. Okay, so go through something hard and recognize that when you're done with this, it's going to feel so much better. So when you go and you get into an ice bath, you're going to feel all of that pain, all of those negative emotions are going to come up, and that uncomfortness and whatever. But when you get out, you're going to be so grateful of just regular air. You're going to be so excited by all of the good emotions that you couldn't even recognize before you got into that bad situation where you're in an ice bath. Okay, and it's not bad, but when you get out, it's so much better. Next, look into the future as if the event had already happened and think to yourself, would I regret this? Would this lead to a bad outcome when it is over? Okay? Find those moments where you recognize that, man, if I don't do this, I'm going to regret it. Okay, you never want to be in a situation where you're like, dang, I regret not doing that. Okay? If you see yourself getting ready to regret something, take action on it. Go do it. Go solve it, because you're going to live a life that you don't regret, and you're going to do things that are going to be so much better for you long term. Okay, next. Utilize your emotional energy to drive you. Okay? There's going to be moments in your life where you feel inspired. And the second you feel inspired, use that emotional energy and go do that thing. Okay? Use it like a gas tank, and it's going to control, you're going to be able to control where you put your energy. Okay? So use it like a tank that's going to run out at some point. And when that tank runs out, Rely on your physical and your mental to keep you disciplined, to keep you going through that task so that you can still achieve and get the results that you need no matter what, okay? Next, moving quickly requires short-term on autopilot, it requires the midterm adjustments, and it requires long-term adjustment, okay? So what you want to do is you want to go through your life and you want to see that everything in my short-term environment needs to be automatic, and that's going to allow me to move quickly. And then I can make midterm adjustments, and that's going to allow me to focus on where I need to go long-term. And once you choose that long-term direction, stick with it. Play your cards at the right time. Okay, if your timing is off, it doesn't matter what cards that you have, and you don't want to waste your best cards because you played them at the wrong time. Okay, so wait for that opportunity and play your good hand as soon as you can. Okay, next, be factual before you be emotional. Okay, so you want to build out a structure, you want to build out a foundation and a good understanding with logic, and you want to find where you can start to insert an emotional understanding. And what that's going to do is that's going to give you clarity so that you can go through life with a factual understanding and an emotional understanding. Next, a microscopic smile is enough to bump you up a point. So if you go out and you smile just a little bit, what it's going to do is you're going to have that vibe. You're going to have that vibe that attracts people, that gives you that sort of aura where people want to be around you, where they look at you and think, that's the kind of person that's doing something that I want to be a part of or that I want, okay? Next, understand what booze does to you, okay? So booze for me makes me see a dark part of life, okay? So I have bad dreams and I see that dark side of life. And I want to be aware of that. I want to be keenly aware of what that does to me because I want to know what that darkness is, but I don't want to be in that darkness. So I don't want to do that every single day. And I don't want to do that every single week because I don't want that darkness around me or in my life. And I don't want that there consistently either, okay? But I want to be keenly aware of that existence. Okay, next. Always build with love, and people will never see your flaws. They will only see you as perfect. Okay? Next. World champion fighters use the same mental strategies you use to overcome complacent thoughts. They have the same tools that you have mentally. Okay, so Israel Adesanya would tell his complacent thoughts to piss off when he would use strong ones to keep himself going. Okay, so he has the same mind that you do. All of his strategies to get through and persevere through the hard things that he has to think when he has millions of people watching him and he's fighting someone on live TV is he has to go, okay, this is a hard situation and my mind's trying to tell me, I'm not good enough or whatever it is. He tells those to go away and then he incites those good thoughts, okay? And that's what keeps him going. That's what keeps him driving. You have the same tools that he does. So use that tool to your advantage and recognize that it's just as hard for him as it is for you. Next. Shut up, brain. I am busy. I'm bringing in the good thoughts, and the good thoughts are going to overcome any feelings of complacency, doubt, or anxiety. Okay, so we're going to use that mental strategy so that we can get rid of all this stuff. We can get rid of all those thoughts that we can label as not good, negative, whatever. And we're going to only bring in good thoughts that are positive and that are beneficial to us so that we can get through what we need to get through and so we can get the result that we need. Next, only take pride in real life things that are big and require lots of progress to get. Okay, don't be one of those people who deal with some thing and then they go through it and it's kind of, it's a small thing and then they reward themselves for it. Or they feel like they went through something and they kind of juke themselves into, oh yeah, it was a short-term thing, but I'm going to feel so happy and so rewarded by it. No, only reward yourself for those big things that have a genuinely large, big, impactful impact on your life. Okay, those big long-term things, reward yourself for those. Next, you are the only person who can actually motivate and discipline yourself enough to do something. So when you wake up in the morning, there's no one to wake you up. And if there is, that's great, but they're not going to be able to get you through everything you need to do throughout the day, okay? So you have to be your own best motivator, your own best teacher, and your own best student. You have to play all the roles required in order to get through your life in a way that's going to be smooth or get you where you want to go, okay? Next, improve your communication skills. They are the front-facing piece of your character. Okay, so there's always going to be a situation where you have to communicate with someone and you want to have a good impression and you want to be able to clearly, effectively, and efficiently communicate yourself to them. Next, everything you do has a physical, mental, and emotional component. Each game you play has different portions of each, and you want to measure those portions out. Okay, so most of the games that you play are probably going to be mental. Okay, they're going to require you to have the right skills or have the right training or do something disciplined in order to get there. Okay, but there are also going to be games that are a lot more emotional or a lot more physical, and you're going to have to measure it out and play the game the best you can so you can win. Next, each thing in life can be seen as a game, okay, and it has a set of rules, and there is always a good way to play it. Now, we never want to view our life as a game because we live in reality, because our life is real, okay? But if we are able to place ourselves in the game mindset where we can see that we need strategy, that we need tactics in order to get something done, it might make it so that it's easier for us to get through what we're going through, okay? Next, some people are living life and playing a bunch of different games. Meanwhile, you don't even know how to play or that there even is a game to play. So find the game you want to play and then get through it. You want to see how you can beat it so that you can beat everyone in that game. You want to have the best strategy, the best tactics so that you can destroy everyone, that you can be the top competitor in that game. So find the game you want to play and beat everyone. Next, the big players have massive emotional swings. And these emotional swings are dramatic enough to push them to accomplish massive goals. If we think about who is someone who has accomplished the biggest thing, they've always had a time in their life where where their life sucked, where they didn't have any money, or they were completely broke, or they had no skills, or they had nothing left. And that amount of emotional pain is what drove them to have such a dramatic success. Okay? So you might have to go through something that's extremely hard, or maybe you're in that situation right now, and that is going to be fuel. It's pent up energy so that you can go out and be extremely successful in the future. Next, how can you change to make your friends and family's life better? Okay, so we want to have this balance, or we want to have this kind of dichotomy between I want to make myself better and I want to find a way to improve my own character. And I also want that to have a good impact on the people around me. Okay, so I want to be a little bit selfish or a little bit self-interested, but I also want to be selfless because I want to build my community. I want to build my society around me. And what that's going to do is it's going to build up everything. Next, take lots of risk and do that in things that don't matter. Okay, so you want to be the kind of person who is able to take on risk, who is able to go out and do things that are a little bit risky. And what that's going to do is it's going to build a tolerance within you that's going to allow you to position yourself to where you have to take on a big risk in the future and you can deal with that and you can tolerate that situation. Okay, and only do this with things that don't matter. Only do this with a fraction of what matters to you, because you want to be able to build that tolerance, but you don't want to risk everything, okay? Next, be more comfortable with dying if you want to live a life that you love, okay? So the brutal reality is that we are all going to die at some point, okay? And we have to find a way to be comfortable with that, to be comfortable with dealing with that. And if we are going to be able to live in the present moment, and we're going to be able to love every moment of our life. Okay? Next, assume more risk without being dangerous. Okay? And life is a risky game in itself, but you never want to risk everything. Okay? So you never want to risk your life because that is too much danger. Never allow yourself to be in such a dangerous situation. Okay? You want to be able to have a fallback or a foundation or something left so that you can rebuild if you have to. That if all the risk that you're assuming goes wrong and it all goes downhill, that you still have some way that you can build what you need to get back to where you were. Okay? Next, be self-interested in your life to the point where you feel selfish without actually acting selfish. Okay? But remain disciplined enough to not lose control and become a selfish person. Okay? So again, you want to have that dichotomy. You want to have that feeling of, I am pursuing exactly what I need to live the best life that I possibly can, but I also want to make sure that the society, the community that I have built around me is also benefiting from my self-interested situation. Next, if you looked at yourself through someone else's eyes, what would you say about yourself? Okay? So ask yourself, what would my best friend think about me? Okay? Or what would a stranger think about me? If they looked at me in a first impression, what would they think? And what this is going to do is it's going to give you so much clarity on who you are. It's going to give you so much perspective on what are the things that I need to change right now? What are the glaring problems that I need to fix in my life? Just looking at me from a surface level. Okay? And then the people who know you better are going to be able to point out the bigger problems or the more internal problems, okay? So look at yourself from someone else's perspective and it will give you clarity so that you can change things and make your life better. The software you have installed in your head is based on the lifestyle that you live. So if you want to improve yourself mentally, if you want to get better inside, you have to change your environment, you have to change your lifestyle, and you have to find a way to improve that, and it will ultimately make your life better. Next, process emotional events individually. So sometimes we're going to get in those situations where there's a big ball of emotions and we have a lot of things going on. And what we have to do is we have to take all of those emotions and we have to break them down into individual pieces. And what that's going to let us do is it's going to let us label each emotion that we're feeling, and then we're going to be able to get through them a lot easier, a lot more quickly. Okay, next, what is your self-identity tied to? And then you can understand your motivations. Okay, motivations don't translate across goals, but self-identity translates across goals. Okay, so you want to find that desire, that drive, whatever gets you fired up, that's going to be your motivation. Okay, and that's what's going to tie to your self-identity so much. And so what you're going to be able to do when you understand yourself and you find that truth within you is you're going to be able to pursue those motivations. You're going to be able to find that desire and that drive, and you're going to be able to take action on it. Next, look in the mirror every day. Analyze the things that look good about you and what you want to look good about you. Okay, and what this is going to do is it's going to build your character. It's going to build who you are. Even if it's just on a surface level, you're going to start moving towards improving your character. So you want to find things that are going to impact your first impression with other people, and you want to improve those quickly. Okay, and so when you do that, it just builds you. You're more attractive. You attract more people, and that's what you want to happen. Okay, next, do more creative activities for your brain. And so what this is going to do is it's going to allow you to analyze things and become almost like an artist when you're doing something. You're going to be able to see so much gray area. You're going to be able to make so much discovery and discover things that other humans haven't discovered yet when you become more creative. Next, in a relationship with someone, you build yourself, you build them, and then you build the bond between you. Okay, so focus on yourself at first, okay? And don't get so obsessed with someone. You don't want to lean into that obsession. You want to lean into obsession with yourself, and you want to keep good communication with them. And then at that point, you can build yourself, you can build them, and then you can build the bond between you, okay? Next, to play the best long-term decision-making game, you want to optimize for regret minimization. You never want to get in a situation with someone where you tell them certain things or you express yourself in a certain way that is negatively going to impact them, okay? Sometimes there is a self-fulfilling prophecy that comes across, okay? And so you want to always reflect. You always want to put out what you want someone to be or how you want them to act. You never want to get in a situation where you end up saying something and then regretting it down the line. Okay, so understand that your words or how you express yourself has an impact on other people. Next, if you're going to start something at some point, you might as well start it right now. If you're going to get to the goal, you might as well just move on it now because you know you're going to do it at some point. You might as well go for it. And it doesn't matter how much friction there is because you're going to get there anyways. Okay? So start now. You will never regret starting now if you know you're going to do it at some point anyways. Okay? And you will never regret starting right now. You will never regret taking an action right now because all the time that you would have wasted thinking about it and considering doing it, even though you know you're going to do it, is not going to be wasted time anymore. You are just going to take action and you're going to get out there and you're going to do something that's good for your life that you're not going to regret. Okay? Next, try to make the right choice the first time. And you want to try to do that every time. That's going to make your life so much easier and it's going to make your life so much faster. And that's what you want to do. If you can build up the right information and you can understand the right things and the right skills and make that first choice right every single time, you're going to make less mistakes and everything's going to move smoother through your life. Next, a byproduct of progress is adventure. If your life feels adventurous, you're probably on the right path. Okay? So you want to find a way where you feel that progress because that's going to give you purpose. You're going to be discovering new things and your brain's going to be expanding. Okay? So when you get on that adventurous path, stay on that path because you're in the right place, because you're experiencing new things. And what that does is it gives you new experience, it gives you a new perspective, and then you can understand reality better. Next, life is linked to optimization and progress. Plants, humans, animals, evolution is all linked to progress and optimization. If we think about, a human or us, right? What we're able to do with all the features on our body, everything has a purpose. Everything is optimized so that our life gets better, so that we, evolve more, we get better, okay? So always make sure that you're looking at optimization and at progress, okay? Next, create the group of people you want to be around, and that's who you will become like, okay? So find that group of people who inspire you, who make you better, who bring the best out in you. And when you do that, it is going to make you a better person. It's going to make you feel better. It's going to make you respond to your environment better. Okay, next. Don't fall in love with a girl before they do. Okay, you always want to fight love with logic until you lose. Okay, so fight it off because what's going to happen is that you're going to make the right moves and you're going to signal the right thing to the girl. And what it's going to bring out is it's going to bring out the best in you, okay? It's going to bring out lots of motivation, lots of drive, and lots of logic, okay? And it might suck to kind of fight it off a little bit, but you're also going to get the girl when you do that, okay? Next, I am what I need to be, and I am who I need to be, okay? So you might have to adapt to a situation. You might have to adapt to whatever it is. Stuff is going to get thrown at you like crazy. And the best mentality you have or you have to have is that I am who I need to be in order to get through this situation. That's going to allow you to persevere through whatever you need to be because it's the right mental frame to adapt to things. Next, spreading love means that you can be rejected, but you have to love being rejected because it allows you to learn. Okay, so when you extend yourself or when you show to someone that you love them or that you express some sort of feeling for them, what that's going to allow you to do is gauge their reaction, and they might reject it. They might throw it out the window. They might not care one bit, okay? And then you can recognize, what can I do to get better? Or what does this signal back to me? And what that allows you to do is it just allows you to get better every single time. And so you never lose, Okay, so when you get rejected, you don't lose because you learn. And when you don't get rejected, you've fulfilled and you got the opportunity you were looking for. Okay? Next, the reason men do what they do is for women. Okay? So sometimes you're going to be in a situation where you're doing something and you're like, why am I doing this? Or why do I have to push so hard to do this? And your motivating drive is going to often be for the opposite gender, or what you are trying to go for, or what you are driven for is for that reason. Okay? So recognize that that's a situation that you're going to be in at some point. Okay? And it's okay for that motivating drive to be there and inspire you. Next, if you're lacking activation energy to do something, find the most interesting and attractive woman that you can. Okay, and what this is going to do is those interesting and attractive women, they have high standards. Okay, they feel that, they have so many options, that they're able to do so many things in life, that it is going to inspire you. You're going to see that, okay, wow, I'm not who I need to be, or I need to be better in this area, and that's going to make you and force you to be a better person. Okay, so sometimes you can use that as a drive, and do that especially if you're bored. Okay, or you might, you might not want to do that actually if you don't want to hate yourself a little bit. Okay, next, it is not possible for two people to live the same experience and be assigned something like Asperger's or ADHD. Okay, literally no human can experience the exact same thing. So you can't place a label like someone has a disorder and this just fills up their entire life. It is not possible because every single person lives a different experience. Okay, so never allow a label to determine who you are. Never, ever, ever. Okay, always be inspired by your self-identity, what drives you, what pushes you. Don't allow someone else to label something or create a fear or create some sort of distaste for yourself. Never ever allow that, okay? Because anyone can make up a label. Anyone can say anything about anyone, okay? So don't allow someone else to dictate your life or dictate your emotions or your frame on anything because they gave you some sort of label. Okay? Ignore it. Push through it. Even say, I accept it and I don't let that affect who I am. Okay? Next. Your life is literally a one-on-one experience. It will never happen again. It is absolutely precious. And the math is 1 to 400 trillion. Okay? That is significantly better than winning the lottery, or anything happening, okay? So treat it seriously. Treat it like something that you're going to enjoy. Treat it like something that you're going to love, and live every day like someone who is enjoying their life, okay? Don't waste it on stupid stuff, okay? Go out and be serious. Take it serious and enjoy it. Next, how do you want to live every single second of your unique life? It's always going to be your choice. Every moment in your life is a choice where you can determine what path do I want to take or which way do I want to go. Okay, don't ever feel confined by, I have to do this or I have to do that. Okay, there are going to be situations where you have to get through something so that you can create more freedom for yourself. But you don't want to ever be constrained into, I have to do this whole thing for my entire life, and that is what I am stuck with. Okay, allow yourself to be free and always push towards freedom. Okay, and if you don't know the right answer or you can't find the right answer, look at discipline. Discipline is going to allow you to push. It's going to allow you to do things when you don't want to, and it's going to give you more freedom long term. Okay? Next, of course, it is hard. That is the point, and that is why I am doing this. Okay, so when something feels that hard, when it really does feel that difficult, you're going to have to push through it, okay? And nobody else is willing to push through it. And you can use that as a source of motivation. And that motivation is no one else is willing to do it, so I am willing to do it. I am willing to suffer the pain, whatever it takes to get through it. I am willing to do that because I know that other people aren't, okay? So use that source of strength and it will give you an unbelievable amount of courage. Next, Don't allow yourself to get overwhelmed by information or when you're trying to accomplish something. Okay, that will make it too hard and you will quit. Okay, so give yourself all the information that you need. Focus on the important components. Okay, and there might be a bunch of important components, but don't get so wrapped up in the details of everything. Okay, allow yourself to flow. Give yourself some room to play, because you'll never know everything you need to know before you get into it. Don't get overwhelmed before you go into something. Okay, allow yourself to have a few data points, and then you can move through it. Okay, next, develop a quiet ego where people never hear you say or hear you see or feel that you desire something for yourself. Okay, and you can allow this to be something that ruminates within you, but you never have to express it. Okay, and that thing can just drive your life. You don't have to express everything that's in your head. You don't have to go out and show people, this or that or whatever, but keep that very thing secret. And what that does is it's going to give you that driving, that motivation, your little secret, so that you can go out and you can pursue that thing that you care about so much and nobody else has to know. Okay? Next, you only love your life when you live up to your potential. And are you really willing to live a life that you never love? Okay? So always live up to your potential. I will always want you to live up to your potential, because it's going to build you up. You're going to build a foundation. You're going to have a life that is so amazing that you can't even imagine it yet. And so what you're going to do is you're going to fulfill that prophecy. You are going to build yourself up so tremendously. Okay? So always try to find the life that you want, the life that you are willing to love. And that's going to be through your potential. Ask yourself, what am I capable of? What can I do? What can I become? Okay? And then once you figure out what you become, that will be the answer to your life that you are looking for. Useless people versus useful people. Okay? Become a more capable, useful person, and you won't have to worry, because you'll be irreplaceable at that point. Okay? So people will rely on you, they'll give you responsibility, and you'll be able to get things done quickly. And when you can do that, nobody's going to bat an eye at you. Okay? They're not going to have to worry about you, and you're just going to be able to get things done. Next, love is based on how you feel about something, not what you know about it. It takes time to fall in love. Okay? So in those moments where you're trying to get something done and you have to push towards something, you might have to find a way to love it. You might have to find a way to create that positive experience, even if it sucks. Okay, love is not just about relationships and people. You can also love purpose and passion and responsibility. These are things that you can attach love to. And sometimes you just have to sit with that, and you end up building the love into it and the positive experience, and then it becomes enjoyable to do. Next, strictly do the minimum amount required to achieve the goal. So when you do something that's just enough, you begin to understand it on a much better level. You begin to remove all of the details and all of the things that you don't need to do, and then you can start to build up this structure for it. And once you have the structure for it, then you can start to work the details in. Next, find anything hard to do and then just do it. Okay? And then do it 3 times back to back to back, just to do something difficult. And so sometimes if you're bored or you need to find something to do, just do something hard. And when you do that, you're going to be more capable of going through hard things. You're going to remove that self-doubt. You're going to remove that when you shy away from the hard things to do, okay? And it's going to fortify yourself and fortify your mind when you're just doing hard stuff, okay? And then when you do it back to back 3 times, it's just proof to yourself that you are capable of going through hard stuff. Next, tell yourself that you've got 80% left in the tank. I'm okay. I'm fine. I've got 80% left in the tank, and then you can get the work done, okay? So always do this. If you're thinking thoughts in your head, you have 80% left, okay? Never allow yourself to be like, if you really had 40% left or less than that, you wouldn't be thinking. You would be so tired that you can't even keep moving, okay? You're so much more capable than you think you are. So always tell yourself, I've got 80% left in the tank, or otherwise I wouldn't even be thinking. Next, breathe into the feeling state and cognitively think about the feeling of your body and then keep going. And this is going to improve your performance. It's going to improve your brain, all right? If you breathe through your diaphragm, up through your diaphragm, your brain's gonna activate better, your body's gonna activate better, and what you're going to be able to do is so much more accurate, so much more precise, because you're gonna be able to feel all the movements in your body. Next, emotionally process stressful situations that require immediate action super quickly, okay? So we're gonna get in those situations sometimes when something really bad just happened. Maybe a car accident happened, and there's gonna be so much emotional pressure, so much emotional tension, and someone has to be able to persevere. Someone's got to be able to pick everything up and move the ball forward so that we can find a solution, so that we can get a result, or so that we can get something done, or even get someone to safety. So work through all those emotions super quickly. People compartmentalize or whatever. Just move through whatever it is super quick, and then you can take action much faster. Next, core is important for breathing, athletic ability, speaking. It supports your lungs, your ribs also, and it holds up your whole body. So keeping it strong is a universal boost to your ability, okay? So when we think about like a core, the core of your body, it holds everything up. It's like the center of your body. So you want to take care of the center of your body, okay? And this ties into universal improvements with your character. Find things that you can leverage. Find things that are so important to yourself, your character, that you use all the time in everything that you do, that you can leverage, and you can make a universal improvement that's going to help you for your whole life. And you might have to maintain it, but I guarantee you, if it affects you every day, it's going to be worth it. Next, find the foundation of anything and just work on it a little bit. Find out what works or what to do, and you will automatically get 60% of the result. So if you need to go out and you need to do something, just do it one time, okay? And you'll figure out everything you need to know. You'll figure out the result of what it is, and if that was actually what you were looking for, and if you can use that and compound that in the future. And if you need to get better at it, at least you've done one repetition. You can figure out, what do I need to get better at? Or what do I need to learn more about? Okay? It will give you some clarity on the situation. Next, you pick up subconscious habits from each thing that you do repetitively. If you only try to work hard, you will engrave the skill of a hard worker. Okay? So make sure that you're repetitively doing the same things every day. If you want to wake up early every day, or you want to be on time for something every day, or you want to be a hard worker, make sure that you are always doing that, okay? And this goes back to everything that ties into your character. If you want to have a good character, if you want to be the kind of person who is strong, if you want to be like a superhero, you want to be like Superman, you want to be like someone who genuinely has that very strong, improved character, you're going to have to do things other people aren't willing to do. And most people aren't willing to work hard. Most people aren't willing to show up on time. Most people aren't willing to put in the work that it takes. Okay, and so if you do all of those build your character. Next, give life to me in a raw form. I don't want, substances. I don't want phones. I just want nature, and I want the progress of life. Okay, you want to live your life as fulfilling as possible. And so as we became adults, things got introduced, and it introduced this barrier between life and you, okay? And so you don't want to have that barrier. You want to remove the barrier. You want to live life in its rawest form, because that's what's going to give you the happiest life that you can live, okay? Next, when you get paid on your ability to work hard, have skill, or you get paid based on your ability to work hard, to have skill, and to take on risk. If you excel in all three positions of life, you will do well in life, okay? So make sure that you're able to do those things. make sure that you're able to build up your character in a way where you can work hard, where you do have skills, and where you do take on some sort of risk. Okay? Next, all it takes is 30 days of consistent action towards a goal. All you need is 30 days to create some sort of positive feedback loop. Because I guarantee you that you can't go through 30 days where you don't have some positive experience. Okay, so if you stay consistent with something like going to the gym for just 30 days, you're going to get that positive feedback loop, that positive experience, and you are going to get in shape because you're going to not want to stop going. Next, the greatest performances come from a phase of being fearful at the start and then persevering through that fear and becoming relaxed mid-performance. Okay, so as this shows consistently, if a professional athlete goes out on the court and he is in fear, you can see it. It's demonstrated to them, and then they start to build themselves up. They start to build themselves through the performance. They will always have their best game when they do that. So if they walk out fearful while they need to perform, and then they start to build themselves up, build up the courage, build up the ability to play the game at the highest level, then they will do that almost every single time. Okay? So you use fear as a motivator for yourself. Okay? Next, strive to experience 100% of the life you want to live, the whole thing. And then you can relax and live in the moment. Okay? So we always want to be building. We always want to live the best life that we can. Okay? And when we do this, we get to a point where it's, relaxing, where we've already built the thing that we've needed to get, the desires that we want, and now we can start to actually enjoy it. Okay? And maybe it's not the best idea to always build and never enjoy until you get there, but you want to be on that path consistently, and that should be 99% of your time. Next, make 5 rules to follow in activity each time you do something. Okay? So think to yourself, what are the 5 most important things here, and how can I remember them? How can I consciously think about them? And when you do that, you are going to have your mind in the right place. You're going to think about the right things, and that's going to allow you to accomplish the task as best as possible. Okay? So what are the top 5 things that you're thinking about when you're getting ready to do something? Next, to think about problems and calculate solutions, activate your brain with stimulation. Okay? And you want to measure how much stimulation this is here. Okay? So when you're thinking about something, your brain can go super quick. So you want to be very stimulated when you're doing that. Okay? And if you want to work on something relaxed for a long period of time, say 12 hours or more, then you want to minimize stimulation. You want that to be more relaxing, more calm, so that you can sit there and you can get focused and into that work or whatever it is that you're performing. Next, choose between showing and telling something. It is often that one route is better than the other. Okay? And so you want to be in a situation where you are showing things most of the time. Okay? Because that's going to be the best route, because that's going to provide proof. It's going to provide evidence that you are who you say you are without even having to say it. Okay? But there's always going to be one route that's better than the other. So either show what you're doing or tell what you're doing. Okay? Next. Tired is a feeling, not a fact. Do not let that feeling control you. Okay? Never allow tired to control you, because it's just a little feeling. And you can sit there and you can persevere through tired. Tired is just a feeling. Don't let feelings determine how you're going to live your life. Do not let that pressure of a feeling or an emotion determine what you're going to do, because it's not a fact. It's not a fact of reality, and it is only in your head. And I want you to be able to pull the things out of your head and build the thoughts up that you need in order to be who you need to be. Be the kind of person your idol would compliment. Have that person that inspires you, that you look up to, and think, how can I become and do something so impressive that this person would compliment me, that they would have my respect if they saw me do that. Okay? Next, complete something 100% every time, just like you said you would do it. Okay, never start a race if you can't complete 100% of the race. Okay, 98% is just as good as 0%. And so make sure that whenever you're going out to do something, that you can complete the entire thing. Next, when you have the opportunity, care more about someone than they care about themselves. Okay, so we've all been in that situation where we don't even care about ourselves anymore. When we think, everything's coming down or this all sucks, whatever it might be. Okay, so take that opportunity when you see someone in that position, use that. Okay, use that to build your own character, to support them, to build up your society. And what that's going to do is it's going to help you and it's going to help everyone around you. Okay, next, don't ever hesitate. Do it and go all in on it. If you're going to hesitate, then don't do it at all. Okay, so when you need to go to the gym, just go. Okay, don't sit there and ruminate on thoughts, because those hesitation thoughts are going to seep in. And what do you think that they're going to be about? Do you think they're going to be, I need to go, or this is the greatest thing? No. What's going to happen is they're going to be hesitating thoughts. They're going to be thoughts of, I shouldn't go, or this or that, whatever. No. Ignore those and just go. Okay? Next. Your mind cannot be influenced poorly by your external environment. You cannot allow it. Okay? So don't allow your environment, when you get in a situation where your environment is affecting you, where you are being infected by something, don't allow that to happen. That negative influence is going to push you in a direction that you don't want to be in. So you want to have your environment be positive. You want everything around you to be a foundation, something that supports you so that you can climb the ladder and be more successful in the future. Next, get really good at something by doing it over and over again. Use the power of repetition to your advantage. Whatever you practice, whatever repetition you put in is going to reflect on the habit that you instill in yourself. Okay, so if you do positive repetition and you do your best on every single repetition, that habit is going to get installed into you. Okay, and it's going to be the same thing with any negative habit or any negative experience. So don't allow negative experiences to influence you. Okay, make sure that every repetition you do counts, and it counts as much as possible so you can build that habit in you. Okay, next. If you are in a position of action, all of the weight and all of the pressure is not on you. You are just the one doing the action. Okay, the situation is not actually that stressful, and it's not stressful for anyone because it doesn't matter enough to anyone. So when you have 10,000 or 100,000 or even 1 million people watching you, the pressure is not actually on you, because what's going to happen is that all those people are going to watch you and they're all going to be wrapped up in that moment. But as soon as that moment's over, they're going to go back to their own lives and they're going to go back to what they are thinking about. Okay, so don't allow pressure to influence you. Okay, use it as a motivation, as a drive. Use it as something that's going to make your performance better. That is the kind of person you want to be, to use pressure as a drive, a motivating factor so that you can perform at a higher level. Next, act like every action of your consciousness, every decision that you make, every experience that you choose in that moment will be judged. Okay? And so you want to take care of the bigger you, because your life's going to go by and you're going to be at the end of your life and you're going to be looking back on all the actions and all of the things that you've done. Okay? And maybe it's even in the afterlife. Okay? And so you want to think, how can I take care of the bigger me? And you have to make that decision in every second of your life. Next, practice explaining yourself clearly. You want to be able to communicate clearly. You want to be the kind of person who is the best communicator, because you are going to influence society the best. You are going to have the most impact when you're able to communicate yourself clearly. Okay? Next, lead people indirectly by telling or showing what you do, and then show your successful results. Okay? So when you have people around you or you have a community and you are part of that community, being a role model for them is going to show them that I have these successful results, or I have done this, and now it's going to influence them to go out and get those results that you have. Okay? So show people indirectly who you are, what you've done, what you've accomplished, and show the successful results that come from that. Okay, you're going to inspire people. You're going to be a role model for people, and that's going to build your community around you. Next, lean into the task that is difficult. Okay, so sometimes we get into a task that requires our physical, mental, and emotional attention, and we have to get wrapped up in that task. We have to wrap our arms around that task in order to figure it out. So when that situation arises, what we do is that we get into it, we lean into it. And what that allows us to do is it allows us to eliminate any fear because we are so invested, because we are so confidently invested in it, and we are so into the task that we can just get through it. We can understand and label everything we need to so that we can get to the root of the problem, and then we can solve what we need to do. Okay, so lean into things. Next, when you're stuck on deciding on your future, lay out each path of your life that you can take. Okay, they're all very predictable. Choose your favorite option objectively and then subjectively. Okay, so there's all things that we want to do in our lives. When we lay them out objectively first, that is going to put us down the best path. Okay, but life is not always about what we want the most objectively. It can also be about what we want subjectively. Okay, so lay things out objectively because it's very predictable, because you can deal with the facts and you can understand the facts, and that's going to position yourself the best, and then you can decide subjectively what you want to do. Next, solve for the constraint of your life every time. If you have something holding you back or preventing you from being able to live, then solve for that problem. Okay, so we're all going to be in a moment in our life where our freedom is constrained, where we are held down, where we are chained or roped, or whatever it is, something that is preventing us from being free. And what you need to do is you need to solve for that problem. You need to get away or you need to attack that problem as fast as you can, because if you don't solve for that problem, it's going to remain a constraint on your life the entire time. Okay, so find that problem, find that constraint, and then go attack it. Next, I crave the attention of the universe. I crave the favor of the universe because the universe deals with reality. Everything around me is real. Everything that I see around me and I feel around me is reality. Okay, and so I want to be as tied to that as possible. So I want to get in the mode of thinking, I am with the universe, that I am in reality, and that I need to solve problems here in reality. Next, put something valuable on the line that you really want. If you want to do this 100%, then you can have a reward after, okay? So if you need to go to the gym, you need to go do something hard, whatever it is, reward yourself after, okay? So go do that hard thing, and then reward yourself in that moment after where you think, this is hard or whatever it was, and then get that feeling, that dopamine release, and that's going to get you to continue doing it because you're going to do something hard and then you're going to feel the reward of doing that hard thing. Next, if you think about it, it is important, take action on it, okay? So if you think about whatever it is, if something pops up in your life, sometimes you need to sit with it. Sometimes you need to feel it, okay? And you have to understand exactly what's going on with it. So if something positive pops up in your life, take action on it. Think about it. It is important. And if you think about something negative, it's no different. It is exactly the same. You might need to sit with it in order to go through it. And when you do that, you are going to be able to figure out, is it a problem? Is it something I need to focus on? And it's going to make you more successful. You're going to understand your life much better that way. Next. Visual, auditory, kinesthetic, they are all ways to learn, okay? Your visuals with your eyes, your auditory is with your ears, and your kinesthetic is with your hands, okay? You cannot learn without each of them, okay? So add each in like a bonus. When you start to add all of these, you get a 3 times multiple on your learning. You will be able to learn more efficiently, you will be able to learn more effectively, and that's what's going to allow you to get so much back on your time. Next. Choose to make good decisions over quick decisions. Okay, thinking will allow you to calculate where your life is going. Okay, so always make good decisions. Okay, quick decisions are the ones that make mistakes. We want to make good decisions because good decisions are going to put us on the path of winning. They're going to put us in the right mode. And once we repeat winning over and over, we become more of a winner. Okay, so make sure that you are always making the right decision, not just the quick decision because it's easy. Okay, so always make that right decision, get in that habit of winning over and over. Next, I will always want you to be the real you. If you don't share the real you with people, then you will be lonely forever, okay? And nobody will like you. And if showing yourself involves doing something atypical or unusual, do it anyways, okay? You always want to be the real you because the moment that you're not, you're constraining your own freedom. And there's nobody who can tell you or even show you that you are not constraining your freedom. Okay, so never put that chain on yourself. Never allow yourself to not be open and never allow yourself to not be you. Always be the real you. Next, once you find the path to go down, you have to fight to stay on the path and settle into it so you can make steady progress for an extended period of time. Okay, so find that direction, find that path, and then fight because it's not going to be easy to stay on. Okay, anything hard is never going to be fun or enjoyable to stay on, but eventually you're going to find that positive feedback loop and you're going to be able to stick with it. And once you stick with it, you can relax into it for an extended period of time, and then you're going to reach that successful goal that you are looking to get.